While seaweed seems like the best solution to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by cows, it is still a developing industry that needs time to blossom and truly integrate itself into the cattle and beef industry. So, here at Arms Lings, we've decided to take this issue into our own hands. Our goal is to attempt to recreate a cattle feed integrated with seaweed on a smaller, much less industrial scale to show you how truly easy it is to make these sustainable choices. Now let's go get the supplies. Now, as you can see, we've just bought multiple things like sunflower seeds, seaweed, corn, peas, and oats, and a little bit of vitamins. So now what we're going to do is put that all together and make this seaweed-infused cattle feed, as you can see here. Okay, so now we're going to go over the ingredients in this feed and go over why each is beneficial. So to start off, we have oats, which is a great starter feed because of its high whole and fiber content. It can be grown in various climates, so it is ideal to use for this feed. Next, we have corn and peas. Corn is relatively cheap and it's favored by farmers because it helps cattle gain and maintain their weight, and it has high energy. Peas are similar, but they're a little bit more expensive. So they have an excellent palatability, nutrient density, things like that, but that's the only thing that might hold you back is the price. We have sunflower seeds, which I'm only putting in a handful because cattle are only supposed to have between 6 and 8% of fat in their diet, and sunflower seeds are about 42% fat, so I'm just limiting that with only a handful. And next you have the magic ingredient, which is seaweed. As previously discussed in the other videos, including seaweed in feed can drastically reduce the amount of greenhouse gas that's actually emitted by cattle, because the unique seaweed composition actually inhibits a digestive enzyme in the cow's rumen. And so, while it's not widely available commercially, this seaweed is already being commercialized and farmed around the world to help produce seaweed-infused feed. And so here we see the feed is blended and pouring it out right now, and while it doesn't look super appetizing, I guarantee you it is easy, cheap, and it is essentially what you would find in a seaweed infused cattle feed somewhere right here in Arizona. So here's a finished video of that feed. Again, not the prettiest, but it is nutritious for the cattle and is sustainable.
In terms of side effects, the studies have shown that implementing seaweeds in the diet of cattle have no known side effects, and after performing a research on the cows who were on the seaweed diet, the methane work by them was 82% less than the cows who were on regular feed. And after a blind research performed by some of the scientists, the feed made to some of the people from both of the different cows, and they found out that there was no change in the taste of the meat from the cows who were on regular feed and also from the cows who were on seaweed diets. So implementing seaweeds in the cattle is very sustainable.
So in terms of accessibility, all of the ingredients in this cattle feed are easy to access. Oats can be grown in various climates, and seaweed is beginning to be commercialized. There are seaweed farms in California, so that makes it easier for Arizona to attain seaweed, and corn is basically grown all over the Midwest, as well as peas and sunflower seeds. So yeah.
Cattle being fed seaweed diets convert their feed up to 20% more efficiently. As a result, they really don't have to eat as much feed as they regularly would have to achieve the same level of growth. In the long run, this can save farmers over 20% of what they would regularly spend on feed. Just one example is a head of 1,000 cattle can save a farmer over $80,000 a year just by implementing seaweed.
So the main appeal to this is obviously the significant reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. The seaweed, what it does is it just inhibits the enzyme in the cow's rumen, and that really helps them digest their feed more efficiently. And as a byproduct, they also they emit drastically lower methane amounts, drastically lower CO2, and it does significantly increase their hydrogen emissions, but that really doesn't have an adverse effect on the environment. And in the long run, this is really just, I think, the most easy, sustainable way to actually implement a change into an industry that isn't very rapid to shift. And I think once the commercialization of seaweed is more widespread, then it's really going to be a game changer, honestly. And the reason that we chose for our action plan to actually make the feed was because we wanted to show you that it's not a very difficult thing to do. And while the ingredients aren't perfect, it's an easy, basic formula for a feed that's nutritious, sustainable, low cost, and is very widely available.